Greatest sorcerer of DC Comic, Dr. Fate Origin Explained. Dr. Fate is one name of the several fictional superheroes who appear in DC Comics' American comic books. Dr. Fate is the name of several different characters in the DC universe who are a series of sorcerers, and the figure has appeared in several forms. Gardner, Fox, and Howard Sherman designed the original incarnation of the character, which first appeared in More Fun Comics number 55 in May 1940. The character's Kent Nelson version has also appeared in many DC-related media, including the television series Smallville, in which he is played by Brent Stait, and the upcoming DC Extended Universe film Black Adam, in which Pierce Brosnan will play him. However, DC's amazing and uber-powerful sorcerer, who debuted 2 decades after Marvel's Doctor Strange, may be unfamiliar to casual fans. Continue watching for an analysis of DC's most powerful, magic-based hero's convoluted 8-decade past.
Who are you?
Well, let me show you, my friend.
Fate, dressed in a gold cape and helmet, utilized his magic to combat criminals. Fate's magical skills were practically unrivaled. He could fly, teleport, wield super strength, astral project, fire mystical energy bolts, cast illusions, and use telepathy, telekinesis, and pyrokinesis. You name it, thanks to his spellcasting abilities. There was very little he couldn't do with all of these abilities. Today we bring to you Dr. Fate, and how he became one of the most powerful magical beings of all time.
Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin.
Came the Lord of Order, known as Dr. Fate, who has for centuries.
Who is Dr. Fate? For the first time, audiences learned of Fate's beginnings in 1941's More Fun Comics number 67. Kent Nelson was the son of archaeologist Sven Nelson, and the two of them were researching the Valley of Ur in Mesopotamia around the year 1920, when they came across an underground pyramid. It held Nabu, an ancient immortal from the planet Cilia who had been frozen in time for thousands of years. Kent let him go, but the lever accidentally let forth a toxic gas, killing his father. Nabu orchestrated the scenario to get a new host, it was later revealed. The curse of King Tut's tomb, which was common folklore at the period, was referenced in this story. When archaeologist Howard Carter found King Tutankhamun's tomb in 1923, several members of his team inexplicably died, giving rise to the common modern tale. Gardner Fox obviously utilized this as a model for Dr. Fate's history. Nabu then resolved to teach the young kid the mysteries of the cosmos, endowing him with extraordinary abilities and relieving him of his sadness through showing him the power of absolute molecular control. In the Lords of Order's never-ending struggle against the Lords of Chaos, he would act as an agent, working on their behalf. The Lords of Order are mystically powerful higher beings who represent order. During the 9th Age of Magic, the Lords of Order operated as avatars of the concept of stagnation prior to the reality-altering events of Flashpoint. They function as a deterrent to the Lords of Chaos in a perpetual quest for universal domination by devoting their virtually limitless strength to empowering mortal agents. The Lords of Order's nature changed as a result of the reality-altering events of Flashpoint. Once a group of sorcerer kings, they discovered a wellspring of raw magic powerful enough to decay their physical bodies, but they became mystical beings formed of energy. They fight the Lords of Chaos over how to regulate this raw magic, taking it upon themselves to govern it till the end of time. After completing his training, Nabu presented him with an amulet, cloak, and helmet, which he used to become Dr. Fate, a good champion. Although Nabu's ghost would constantly guide him through the helmet, and he would awaken with little memory of his own accomplishments, Kent would go on adventures as Fate. While passing through Alexandria, he met a lovely girl named Enza Kramer, who would become his long-term loving partner and confidant. His first combat was with Wotan, the evil sorcerer who would later become Fate's arch-foe, who attacked him through Enza and an agent named Thomas Frawley. Soon after, they married and moved into a mysterious tower in Salem, Massachusetts. Fate was able to hide his tower from mortal eyes thanks to his sorcery. Kent and Enza were able to maintain their youth and energy for decades, thanks to their magical abilities. The Fate Helmet is the source of all of Dr. Fate's powers. He would quite frankly not be as powerful without it. It is also known as the Helmet of Nabu. It is a golden helmet. When united with humans, it can transform them into powerful beings. The helmet teamed up with human Kent Nelson to form Dr. Fate. The helmet allows the spirit of Nabu to take possession of its wearers, bestowing them with tremendous magical abilities. It then connected with Chloe Sullivan, allowing her to view the futures of Oliver Queen and Clark Kent, and later utilized by the metahuman Icicle to provide him with similar superpowers. The mask appears to be sentient, conversing to individuals in low whispers and providing them advice and expertise. The Helmet of Naboo is a highly powerful relic that requires a human host to activate its powers and abilities. The helmet is sentient without a host, but it's primarily inactive. The helmet has limited mobility on its own, and appears to be clairvoyant since it once glanced back at Clark when he used his X-ray vision to peek into the bag it was in. When a host bonds with the helmet, they can gain skills like teleportation, flight, telekinesis, invulnerability, and precognition.
It's forged something new. Not simply an agent of order on Earth.
Dr. Fate encounter with chaos and death. Dr. Fate has had a turbulent time dealing with chaos and death, and it seems like they never leave his back, hounding him and the people he loves time and time again. Dr. Fate attempted to stop the threat of a Lord of Chaos being released on Earth after an encounter with both Flashes from Earth 1 and Earth 2. Unfortunately, the Lord of Chaos kidnapped Inza and used her to weaken Fate's powers and erase his resistance. Despite being nearly defeated, Fate was able to overcome the Lord of Chaos and undo the devastation he had caused, all due to his drive and passion to save Inza. Fate's meeting with Lords of Chaos would not be his last, as he was soon transported to a new universe where he had to face Van Diemen. Fate returned disheartened after failing to fight the Lord of Chaos, only to discover that Inza had abandoned him. Fate eventually realized that this was all part of a plot to break him, and the mastermind was a rogue Lord of Order named Inar, who had aligned himself with Van Diemen in order to gain control of the universe. Fate was powerless in the face of their combined energies. He was able to fuse the Kent's consciousness inside the Helmet of Naboo, giving him enough power to destroy the Lords of Order and Chaos. Kent and Inza acknowledged their profound love for one another after a lot of struggle and began striving to enhance their relationship. Later, Dr. Fate joined the New Justice League as a founding member, and the hero stopped Darkseid's plan to turn the people of Earth against Hero. Kent's most recent League adventure pitted him against the Gray Man. Fate went into space to reflect on the circumstances of the conclusion of that case. Chaos and order were at an all-time high in the late 1980s. It was the Kali Yuga, a man's final epoch. Order had withdrawn from combat, waiting for chaos to devour itself and usher in a new golden age. Kent and Inza had both accelerated their aging due to Kali Yuga's strain. This would usher in the end of Dr. Fate. The stress on Inza became intolerable, and she committed suicide in 1987, leaving Kent devastated and on the edge of suicide. Naboo had taken a more controlling role in their relationship, refusing to let Kent die until he could locate a new host body. Kent grudgingly assisted Naboo in locating Eric Strauss as his new Fate protege. Kent only realized that Dr. Fate was supposed to be the outcome of the merging of two people with a magical bond, similar to his bond with Inza. During this brief period, Kent persuaded Naboo to take Eric Strauss and Linda, his human link, the new Dr. Fate. Kent then requested to die, and Naboo agreed to let him do so. Directly or indirectly, chaos had to do with the end of the Supreme Sorcerer. Dr. Fate in various story arcs. Afterlife and Return is one of Fate's primary storylines, in which the Nelsons enjoy an afterlife in which they live regular lives unwittingly in the Amulet of Anubis after the events of chaos and death, where both Inza and Kent lose their lives. They had a son named Kent, and Fate would once again intervene in their lives. Naboo travels to Salem's Tower of Fate in despair, hoping to clear the way for the true Dr. Fate, Kent and Inza Nelson. When they look into the Anubis amulet, they see Kent and Inza's souls. Linda and Naboo prepare to fight Benjamin Stoner, while Jaxie, Small, and Petey search for the amulet for the Nelsons. Linda can touch the items and become Fate with Naboo, with the help of Naboo. To fight the anti-Fate, Naboo and Linda develop a four-armed Dr. Fate. However, they fail, and the Lord of Chaos are rejected by the anti-Fate. Jaxie, Small, and Petey realize that Hesse is trapped inside the amulet. They track down the Nelsons with his assistance and attempt to persuade them to return to Earth. This was dubbed Heaven by Inza, because the Nelsons could live their lives as they pleased. They even had a son named Kent Jr. in this world. Inza does not want to leave this ostensibly perfect world, but she eventually decides that they can make this life a reality on Earth. Unfortunately, Linda succumbs to her injuries during the battle with the anti-Fate, and her soul is absorbed by Wendy, a recently deceased woman. She is reunited with her husband Eugene and their daughter Raina, and the three of them will grow up to become the new seeds of mankind. When Naboo is given the option of becoming a human or an eternal Lord of Order, he chooses humanity, and his soul is implanted in Wendy's unborn child. Dr. Fate is replaced by Kent Nelson and Inza Nelson. In the events of Zero Hour, Dr. Fate was reformed into the male Dr. Fate in 1994, although this time under Kent and Inza's control. Dr. Fate commanded the Justice Society in its decisive showdown against Extant, a Parallax minion, during Zero Hour. Extant vanquished the JSA, and because he wielded the might of both a Lord of Order and a Lord of Chaos, he compelled Dr. Fate to split, tossing the helmet and amulet throughout the Netherverse. finally returning to Egypt, the hub of Fate's power. Kent and Enza were rejected by the Things, therefore the Nelsons chose Jared Stevens to be the new Keeper of Fate. The Nelsons were killed after a bloody battle with the Demon King's servants, and they were eventually let back into the afterlife. After surrendering the objects to Jared Stevens, Kent and Enza became disembodied souls who appeared to exit in a pocket universe within Fate's amulet. He then made a brief cameo in Blackest Night, when his fate was unknown until he was resurrected as Black Lantern, and then destroyed in New York City when the JSA's bomb went off. Finally, in the last sign of life, it is revealed that a fraction of the original Dr. Fate was inside Hal Jordan's ring after he was injured on a distant planet, and his ring's energy was virtually depleted. Fate sent a fragment of himself, going through time within the ring in the contemporary times, when he and Jordan shook hands years ago. Fate barely had enough power to keep him and Jordan alive for a short time, before returning to his body and passing on what he had learned there. They start debating if Fate should use his power to save Jordan. Because the source of Fate's loss of immortality has never been revealed, it's possible that the spell Fate cast was a genuine reason. Despite the fact that he has the ability to change his own fate, Fate chooses to assist Jordan in escaping from that world.
What are you doing to him?
What makes Dr. Fate so powerful? The Fate's abilities were defined as the secret of the conversion of energy in matter and matter in energy in the early years of publication. Dr. Fate's powers are largely derived from the mystical helmet of Fate in the current continuity. Kent Nelson, on the other hand, has spent his lifetime honing his skills as an expert explorer and amassed his own personal magical powers. He possesses magic sense, which allows him to detect the presence of magic in his environment. He also has cosmic awareness, meaning he can tune into the cosmos and perceive oncoming mystical happenings, as well as sense other people's auras and discern if they are aligned with good, evil, or none at all. He also possesses clairvoyance, as well as the abilities of chronokinesis, astral projection, dimension travel, divination, and the capacity to obtain eldritch blasts, which are Ankh-shaped blasts. He also has the abilities of energy construct creation, negation, and energy resistance, as well as the capacity to manage energy. He was an expert at building force fields. One of them could survive Aquarius's strike for a full week. In addition to all of this, he has healing,
Who are you?
Well, let me show you, my friend.
illusion casting, invisibility, magnetic manipulation, and hypnosis are all abilities that can be used. He is well known for his ability to perform molecular reconstruction on organic stuff. It may appear that we are going on, but he has many more capabilities and abilities. It is not for nothing that he is known as the Supreme Sorcerer. He possesses the ability to execute necromancy rituals, as well as resurrection, telepathy, teleportation, and divine empowerment. Nabu is aware of Ra's actual name and can use his divine power to temporarily boost his own or others' magic. In fact, if Dr. Fate so desired, he could render Superman immune to magic. Fate has no emotion while wearing the helmet and is totally immune to psycho abilities. Kent Nelson without his helmet, however, has just the following magical abilities: immortality and invulnerability. Dr. Fate could resist military weapons and a mansion-destroying explosion. Along with this, he possessed the ability of telekinesis, which when combined with his helmet was powerful enough to move an entire planet. Without it, Fate might only be capable of lifting cars. He can fly and use superhuman strength, as well as being a master of archaeology, hand-to-hand combat, jujitsu, occultism, medicine, and multilingualism. As being an archaeologist and occultist, he speaks Portuguese and Spanish, and many ancient languages. All of this makes Dr. Fate an extremely powerful sorcerer, and there is practically nothing he cannot do, and no power that he does not possess. It is insane to think that such an all-powerful agent of justice has largely remained confined to the pages of DC Comics. Mind-blowing versions of Dr. Fate in various forms of media. While Dr. Fate is yet to have a live-action film debut, it is coming soon, and we are super excited about it. He has been seen in multiple animated films in the DC universe. Dr. Fate, as played by Kent Nelson, can be seen in the opening credits of the animated film Justice League: The New Frontier, and the animated film Justice League Crisis on Two Earths, an evil other reality of Dr. Fate. He makes a guest appearance. He is shown as a lower-ranking member of the crime syndicate. Dr. Fate also appears in the LEGO DC Comics Superheroes, the Flash animated film. The helmet of Dr. Fate can be seen in the animated film Justice League Dark. Steel Maxim, an initial iteration of Dr. Fate, is voiced by Greg Grumber in the animated film Suicide Squad: Hell to Pay. Kent Nelson also makes an appearance in the animated film Justice Society: World War II. There have been a few live-action Dr. Fate adaptations that hit our TV screen that are worth noting. Dr. Fate's incarnation, Kent Nelson, and his wife Enza Nelson, played by Brent Stait, and Erica Carroll respectively appear in the Smallville two-part episode Absolute Justice. The helmet of Nabu resurfaced in Season 10's Lazarus, as Chloe Sullivan uses it to track down the Green Arrow. Dr. Fate's helmet reappeared in the Constantine episode Non-Est Asylum, as one of the several items kept at Jasper Winter's home. Dr. Fate, as played by Kent Nelson, also appears in Stargirl. The list of appearances is even longer when it comes to animated series.
When two, it's magic time. With the Force side.
Dr. Fate, as portrayed by Kent Nelson, appears in DC Animated Universe series. Dr. Fate, as played by Kent Nelson, appears in Batman, The Brave and the Bold. Dr. Fate, as portrayed by Kent Nelson, also appears in the Young Justice animated series. Kid Flash and Aqualad temporarily take up the Helmet of Fate after Nelson dies, until Nelson's spirit convinces Nabu to let them go. Khalid Nassour is also voiced by Usman Ali in the 4th season of Young Justice Phantoms. This version is Zatanna's protege. Dr. Fate appears in Mad, episodes 22 and 46, as well as series of animated shorts on Cartoon Network's DC Nation block. Dr. Fate, as portrayed by Kent Nelson, once again appears in the Justice League action episode Trick or Threat. There was very little he couldn't achieve with all of these abilities, making him maybe as powerful as Superman. Despite this, he never took off as a figure on par with Superman, Green Lantern, or The Flash. However, the Justice Society of America is about to make its big screen debut with the magical sorcerer Dr. Fate, assisting and leading the charge in this darker DC film. We can't wait to finally see the Supreme Sorcerer make his live-action film debut.
And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks everyone.